Captain on the bridge.
Alright, captains, we are back on the bridge, and today we got an announcement from the official Twitter feed of Star Trek Online. So, on screen. Here we go. Announcing Perfect World Entertainment is now Gearbox Publishing. So, what I wanted to do is go over the article that was attached to this tweet, drop my two ECs, and then have a little discussion and give our conclusion at the end. So, here we go. Again, announcing Perfect World Entertainment is now Gearbox Publishing. Now, we knew this was going to happen, or it already did happen, and this was sort of before Christmas time last year, and now there is an official announcement here. So, we're the same dedicated team of gamers working on the same awesome games, just with a new makeover. Read all about it. So, here we go. So, here we are taken to gearboxpublishing.com. And here we see all the games that they have, and now they've added Star Trek Online. So here, we'll go with the article here. There's Jaula, looking pretty pissed off or about to just take your soul, one of those things. I don't know why it has to start here. Have a nice death, but bold, new look, same great game. So here's Gearbox Publishing, and now we see a Star Trek Online logo there from Season 12 drop. I love that actually wallpaper. So here we go. We're incredibly excited to announce that Perfect World Entertainment is now Gearbox Publishing. Early in 2022, we were presented with a great opportunity to expand our horizons and extend our reach in the video game world. Our goal has always been to publish highly quality games that create lasting impressions. And Embracer Group has stepped up to help achieve this vision. Within Embracer, we've been placed in the loving care of the Gearbox Publishing wing of games, and we couldn't be happier to join their family. Rest assured, we're the same dedicated team of gamers working on the same titles we had before. Despite the name change, our organization, employees, products, and passion remain, just with a new makeover. We'll continue releasing content for our service titles like Neverwinter, Star Trek Online, and Have a Nice Death, as we have always have. Our previous releases, including games like Remnants from the Ashes and the Torchlight Trilogy, will remain under our umbrella with more amazing new games to come. What does this mean for me? You will begin to see new branding for our games, replacing the Perfect World Entertainment logo with the Gearbox Publishing one. Additionally, our email addresses will change, so expect to receive newsletters and support tickets from new@gearboxsf.com accounts. Your favorite games should still be playable as usual. What does this mean for Perfect World Entertainment games? All of our games will continue to be published by the same group of enthusiastic gamers. Though the company name is changing, our titles, development plans, and passion for our work will remain. When does this take effect? You should start to see some of the changes immediately, like our new email addresses. Other things may take a bit longer, like getting our new logo in-game, but none of this should affect your gameplay in any way. We're appreciative of you enjoying our games and joining us on this journey. New horizons. The new partnership means bigger and better things. And we can't wait to show you all the new experiences we've been working on as Gearbox Publishing. So, all right, Captain. So we've discussed this on the Twitch bridge when this happened, and here and there had numerous discussions on what my thoughts are. So here's what my two ECs were on the matter of Gearbox buying out Perfect World or whatever, taking over. So in real life, I've been a part of two takeovers at my current sort of industry. And in both times, they were very, very similar in what had happened. So what had happened was we got bought out, the company got bought out. Immediately, what was sort of communicated to the company was business as usual. We got that same sentiment when this happened, was business as usual. And we also had Ambassador Kale, aka Mike Fathom, on our bridge here, and we had discussion about this, and he kind of agreed with what I'm about to say here on what's going to happen. So not necessarily agree, but just sort of say that I wasn't too far off. So the reorganization is going to happen at the very top, first and foremost. Whatever that looks like, we never know, or I never knew or found out what had happened there. Or regardless, because of merging businesses or merging companies, they're always going to restructure first at the top. So that statement of business as usual, well, yeah, because they can't really stop everything at the top there, because if they did, well, then, they'd have to shut down all the games or whatever the companies, how are they function or work. So it is business as usual when it comes to the level of, let's say, at this, in this case, playing games. Star Trek Online is going to just keep going as it is. With the restructuring, once that's done, then we saw more announcements. So let's drop to this. So now there's an announcement, an official announcement saying, hey, still business as usual. And that's kind of what I'm getting here in terms of what this announcement is saying, is just, hey, now we're going to start sticking our logos on everything. And expect, of course, the same enthusiasm, passion, all that lovely fluff stuff. A lot of it really is still making sure that the top structure is all taken care of. Now, the one thing that Mike did say, Ambassador Kale, was he is privy to a lot of the information if there is any changes coming down the line. At the time that he was on the bridge about a month ago, nothing really was told to him on any changes, which makes sense because Star Trek Online plans way ahead. I believe like a year ahead. So they don't have anything to really add and or should change because these things were already solidified, and that comes with voice actors, whatever else comes with that in terms of planning ship releases, etc. So for the next year, I would still think that whatever they had planned the previous year is still going to come into play. Having said that, here comes the changes that we will see. I believe, I don't think the development team is going to get any like new hires. They may get new support, and that could be in, what could that look like in terms of probably another layer of requesting if they need to put something in game, or possibly new hardware, software, whatever that may look. That may be what it looks like here, because once that infrastructure is put in place at the top, things will then flow down. It is easier for them just not to touch anything, but they may add a liaison between Gearbox and Star Trek Online, Neverwinter, etc., just to have that additional layer of communication. So, the one thing that I see here, the new partnership means bigger and better things. Again, what does that mean? Maybe more infrastructure support. Hopefully, it's not as easy as Mike said to just get in a new body and here, let's work on these things here and there. So I believe it'll be business as usual. And this is what I said there last, a couple months ago when this all came down, is for the first quarter, first two, possibly even 3 quarters, we're not going to see any changes in terms of how Star Trek Online is running. Other than now, it's going to be a bunch of, let's say, cosmetic changes to, of course, rebranding. That's all going to come down. And then about a year, so going into next year, because Mike also said that all the things that they have planned out is actually leading up to already next year's event, where either we're going to get the end of the arc or the start of the new one, which makes sense, kind of how it goes. when it comes to Star Trek Online, so here is the meat and potatoes. The reason why Star Trek Online was bought slash Perfect World, these games were doing well. And if there's any indication of, let's say, sales, right? Last year, if we remember, Captains, there was a lot of legendary bundles released, and we got a lot of them. I think we got every one of them that was released, from the 11th anniversary bundle down to the very last one that was released to that year. Because we wanted them. In fairness, we wanted them. But there was also a lot of lockbox ships, R&D ships, so that shouldn't necessarily change, unfortunately, or fortunately, however you want to look at it. So when it comes to things coming into game, I'm going to expect, and this is, again, my two ECs, that a ship that we may see on screen coming into Star Trek Online, you bet your bottom dollar possibly that that's going to be a lockbox ship or R&D ship. I think they're still going to throw us bones here and there when it comes to C-Store ships, just like the 12th anniversary bundle, because that was a pleasant surprise. Those were mostly hero ships regardless. So we still get C-Store ships like that. But when we are talking about, and let's just say it as of this recording, the Cerritos has not come out yet. So I'm going to expect the Cerritos to be a lockbox ship. I think that is what is up next. Because right now we just had the legendary bug drop. So what I'm going to expect now is a lockbox, possibly a lower decks lockbox, and then after that an R&D C-Store, and then another legendary pack. So it's going to be very similar to what we saw last year in terms of releases for new ships. Content-wise, same thing. They're still going to be going over, or going after, I should say, voice actors to do all these episodes for us. So it's still going to be the same sort of one episode per quarter. And with Stormfall coming, of course, that is May. It's not too far away. That's not going to stop. They're still going to probably aim for voice actors, especially with all the Trek going now. So going into that, with all the Trek happening now, it's very likely that what's going to happen is we're going to see a faster transition, in my opinion. And everything's up for approval. Everything's always up for approval when it comes to getting things that we've seen on screen here to Star Trek Online. Having said that, the one thing that was a little further along the process, or it takes longer, is the Prodigy stuff because of Nickelodeon. So regardless, the support I'm seeing that Star Trek Online, or I'm guessing that Star Trek Online will get, is going to be a lot of infrastructure. I know a lot of people will say, well, this means lockboxes, more lockboxes. And yes, let's just say it, yes. If anything, again, we have last year to compare, because the reason why Star Trek Online was bought, let's just be real, Mike even said it numerous times, Star Trek Online did really, really well when it came to profitability. So why would they change that? There's no reason why they wouldn't, or they would change that, because it makes them money. So I'm going to expect that. I, again, have my own personal thoughts. This is a free-to-play game. Everything is still, and you still can get things for free. So when it comes to ships, I mean, we have these event year campaigns. This is the second year, so I don't see that changing. It will take longer to get, let's say, free ships, especially premium ships, C-Store ships. But you can still get it if you invest your time into Star Trek Online. With events, free, you got the events, the free events that give you free Tier 6 coupons, free ship coupons, obviously even like summer, winter events. They'll also give you free ships. So with all this Trek going on, I'm going to go back to that point. With all this Trek going on right now, this has extended the life of Star Trek Online. I said conservatively 3 years. Good friend of ours, Casual SAB, aka Spencer, said 10 years. I'm going to be still a little conservative and go maybe 3 to 5. But it's still dependent on how well Trek does. Now, before Discovery came, there was it didn't feel like a lull, but it felt like, content was sort of drying up. But of course, now with all this Trek happening, they have so much content to pull from. So even after, let's say, 3, 5 years of any show running, they're still going to be able to pull from those, because what I've noticed in the past is they've pulled out storylines from like little smidgets here and there from the show. So I'm excited for the incoming change, in a way that knowing there's still more Star Trek Online to come. There's a lot more story to be had. There's a lot more ships to come into game. And there's possibilities still, again, of ships going into Star Trek itself. So I'm excited for that aspect. I know there'll be a lot of my fellow captains who are not, but if it's business as usual, if we can compare to what had happened at least in the last year, last 2 years, and we're going to expect the same, I'm okay with that, to the point where how I play Star Trek Online. So again, captains, this is just my two ECs. I'm just dropping them, and this is all gonna be based on how I've played. Now, how I play Star Trek Online, again, that could be another video on its own, but we're gonna focus on this right now. I think this is good. I don't want to make this too long, but I really think that with this change that's coming, I believe more support's going to be given to Star Trek Online. With all the Trek happening, this is going to extend the life of Star Trek Online. There's going to be a lot more, let's just say how it is. Even though this is free to play, there's going to be a lot more lockboxes, R&Ds. But I'm hoping, if this is true in their statement here, I'm not going to say this is their mission statement, but if this is something that is being developed by gamers, quote unquote gamers, they know how we feel, which I can't say it's sometimes lines up with how I feel. They're going to make sure that this is, at the end of the day, period, point blank, profitable for them. So again, if we're going to compare it to what had happened here in the past couple of years, 3, 5 years, if they go that same model and keep up with it, it should do well. And again, show them, yeah, this was a good acquisition for us, that Star Trek Online is going to be profitable for us. Now, I didn't want to bring this up, but if they start going the way of a certain 3-letter trend that's happening right now, that's different. We'll have to drop our two ECs on something different than that. But I just thought I'd go over this with you, captains. Again, I am excited. I'll say it one more time. I'm excited because of, again, the extension of Star Trek Online that is going to happen via the current Trek. So that's what gets me excited. All those little other details of monetization and all this, what this means, again, it's hard to sort of see how this is going to play out in the end. We're going to, of course, keep our eyes on it in real time. And captains, comment below. How do you feel? I've always said this in the videos before. If you're going to comment below, please make it positive. Let's not make it negative. I want the YouTube bridge to always be a place where we can just have a discussion, because at the end of the day, what I'm doing is sharing my love / my passion for Star Trek / Star Trek Online with you, captains. There's no need to be negative. Can we say negative things? Sure, but let's not make it to the point where we're attacking each other or something like that. So like the video. Again, I thought I would go over this with you, captains. Also, subscribe to the YouTube channel. Our plans for upcoming content will always be trying to drop our two ECs with news like this, update with all the news incoming in terms of events. again, and as always, dropping our two ECs. But I do want to leave it on this note because at the end of the day, captains, I love being on the ship. I love being on the bridge, whether it's here on Twitch, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's an actual bridge in Star Trek Online. I love being a captain. So we're going to leave it on this note.
Don't let them promote you. Don't let them transfer you. Don't let them do anything that takes you off the bridge of that ship, because while you're there, you can make a difference.